Hello, BookTube, and we're here with Jenny. Hello, everyone. And we've got some messages already. Jess was here. Hi, Jenny. Now we officially get to meet you. 6 minutes more. Wow, that's gone down. There's no turning back now. Hey, Jess, Dave, Olive. I'm not sure what that is. Can't see what that is. And popcorn. I guess everybody's getting their popcorn ready. And dog treats for Olive. So, how does it feel being live?
Terrifying. I came this close to chickening out.
Well, it's too late. Wow, it's too
That's a
late
bit late
now.
now.
And yeah, I'm just trying to get up the comments here, but the shoe is on the other foot. I'm not sure what that is. And yeah, Jenny's in the house. So, as usual, we were doing the Sunday reads, but I don't have a lot to read, and I can't find the book that I was reading. I've lost it here somewhere.
Did you
Oh
get
well.
through the book about the earthworm character?
Earth. No, I haven't. No, I haven't started that. I won't be reading that until August. Actually, I won't be reading that one till August. But I don't know where my book is. I just don't know. I didn't read anything today. I'm still fiddling around with my pulps. So, what have you been reading?
I actually managed to finish some books this week, which I was surprised at. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Although I made the mistake of looking up how many books to finish out series, and probably should finish those off. There's like 15 already just to finish out the series.
But
Uh,
you've got 140 some series, don't you?
142.
142 and counting.
Yeah, it's a tad excessive. It was mostly I finished Meg 2, Meg 3, Neverwhere. God, I love Neverwhere. And Clanlands.
Is Neverwhere the what's his name?
That's Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, because I'm not. I've only read one short story by him, and I remember hearing the radio drama of that. I think it was.
Yeah, I've listened to that one. That's quite good. I like the actors in it.
Yeah, because Benedict Cumberbatch was on there. As I
Yeah,
call.
I love James McAvoy.
Oh, I don't remember him being on there.
He played the main character.
Uh, Aaron saying, Jenny, to quote Little Green Men from Toy Story, one of us, one of us. Well,
Baby
yeah,
steps.
if we get 100 subscribers for Jenny's channel, what will you be doing, Jenny?
I'll do the BookTube newbie tag.
And hopefully more.
We'll see.
And MJ's here. Hello. And Gareth saying hi. Bookish Chaz.
And I've
Any
been messaging Chaz like all week with just terrified, and I'm so nervous.
Well, see, it's done and it's not nerve-wracking. Correct?
Oh, it's a little, but you get over it pretty quick, I suppose.
Yeah. So Jess is asking, do you have any biscuits?
No,
And
I ate them all yesterday. I ate like half a pack of Jaffa cakes, and then forgot to pick up more on my way home from work.
I can't keep up with all the comments. You're popular, more popular than I am.
It's because I tease everybody on all their other streams.
um, Gareth saying he loves Neverwhere as well. Series, Neverwhere. I'm using a bad thing. It's really shaky. Oh well. Jess says very awesome to meet you.
Hi, Jess.
Gaiman is amazing. Oh, Jess finished the Terror. Cool. That's it's a fabulous book. The ending sort of like it depends on. Yeah, it was good. Really looking forward to Neverwhere.
It's my second favorite gaming.
Jenni is a big part of the community. She's the best of friends to everyone. I would agree with that.
I do not discriminate with my taunting.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. But yeah, so we need to get 100 subscribers for Jenni. So share her channel and go over there. The last time I looked earlier in the week, there were 10. So all we need is 90 more.
Yeah, there's like 14 now.
Okay, so it's getting closer. It's getting closer. It's a link in the description. You can go directly there. Jaffa cakes. Ugh. Oh well. Okay.
The best ever. My greatest weakness.
No way. Book of Chat. You're doing awesome, Jenni. I can't stay on long, unfortunately, but I want to show my support.
Yeah, it's daytime for Chaz.
Jenni will not have any trouble growing your channel. No, so that's what I want to see. Like, it'd be nice to see if we can get 100 in like a week or so. We should be able to. And Gareth is asking, what's your favorite gaming?
Oh, Graveyard Book.
Okay, I don't know that one.
Oh, it's basically just Jungle Book, but in a graveyard instead of the jungle.
Oh, that sounds kind of cool. The only book I've got is American Gods. I picked that up because I like the TV series, which they never finished. But only half a packet of Jaffa cakes. That's more restraint than I could show.
They weren't originally my Jaffa cakes. That's why there was only half a packet.
So, yeah, that I'm assuming that means getting the 100 subscribers. She's the coolest friend, and thank you, Sean, for having her on the live stream today. Very awesome for you. Well, there is a thank you thing you can pay.
It's a good thing it's on my laptop and a bad quality camera. You see me blushing like crazy.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, you can pay on here. What I still need to start my OnlyFans channel though. That's the one thing. Then I'll be rolling in. Well, I was going to say money, but probably not money. That's the problem.
I get you on Feet Finder and all those other ones.
Yeah, what was it? There was that I always forget her name. This is a Scottish lady that's a young woman who's doing the Scottish word of the day and so forth.
Oh, Lenny, yeah.
And she said something. There's two things that she was always told never to do on the internet: is show your feet for free, and diss Taylor Swift. So I thought I would do a video with my feet, make sure I get them all dirty, like go outside or something like that, and diss Taylor Swift and see if I can grow my channel. Sounds like a good idea, doesn't it?
Oh, you can get nice big hobbit feet as well.
Well, it's probably not very far from it. Graveyard Book is awesome. Watched half of American, I guess the American God. I liked that. I didn't know what to think of it at the beginning, but I liked it. But then they just cut it, so I don't know if anybody else is going to pick it up.
I think I only caught most of season 1. I think they were a bit tighter than the book because the book meanders all over the place. But I actually quite like that.
Well, there's apparently two versions. There's the published, like the first published version, then there's so-called unabridged, but I saw that the unabridged version was not something he authorized, so I don't know what happened there. And then there's an annotated version out there as well, so it's like, oh, okay.
I think it's the unabridged one I've got. I've got the big thick one.
Yeah, mine's thick too, and I don't know which it is because I haven't looked at it since then. You got this, Jenni. You have so much knowledge of books, and you have been the most supportive person in the community. What will be your first episode? What will your first episode would be about? I guess it would be the new tag or
probably name and shame all the series I'm in the middle of.
Please don't, Sean. Don't want. Oh no, I got to start. Well, like I said, well, probably no, I wouldn't say if I was probably between female and between 19 and whatever, I'd be probably starting one. And if I had a schlong the size of a 10-foot schlong, then I might do it either as well. Now you hear everything on this channel, that's for sure.
I'd be careful if it was that big. Mark might come after it and pickle it.
Well, that's the scary thing, that you could do something like that, and that would be the scary thing. Like you're going, how depraved are people? Oh, bye.
Hi, Jazz.
Say whatever you want about Taylor, but keep it above the weight.
It probably means waist. No feet.
Well, apparently somebody's done, because when I was trying to figure out how to do shorts, I was starting to look at a lot of shorts of sort of, well, trying to find ones that people were showing pictures of books and stuff like this. But then I came across something that's somebody did I guess an AI porn of I guess the video of Taylor Swift. Couldn't find it. So what are you currently reading, Jenni?
Let's see. Currently, there's about 25. Well, I'd say 25. There's a lot more than 25 in my currently reading folder. Currently, there's 107. But I've got Meg 4, Weird Sisters, Wheel of Time, and where'd the other one go? Amber Spyglass. I really need to finish that one.
I'm still reading because I haven't read all week, actually, or hardly at all. I'm still reading Book of the New Sun, but I've lost the first volume of it. I've actually lost it. I don't know where it is. So I've got to look for that later. Ariane's here. Hello. You finished I think Ariane's finished the Terror as well. Bye, Jazz. Yeah, sorry, yeah, no, I'm just still trying to figure out where my book is. It's bugging me at the moment.
It's probably just hiding.
Yeah, well, it's because I haven't read it. It's probably pissed off that I haven't read it this week or much at all.
I see. I worry about that with all the books on my Kindle. Because there's like over 3,000 and like, whoops.
I've got a little more than 3,000 in total, but they're not on a Kindle. Well, it's a great thing, but I finally figured out, like I saw somebody was putting up a short about a problem that he had with his Kindle. But I've tried to explain exactly what the problem I have with the Kindle is. It's like when you go from page to page, it flickers and it jumps and it sort of fades in and fades out. Like it's just like a nanosecond. But mine does that occasionally while I'm reading it too. And every time I sort of flick it, I have to look away. So I wind up flicking 3 pages or something like that. So it's so frustrating to read because I start reading it again when I look back and I go, oh, there. And then I have to watch while it does all this, and it just screws up my eyesight and everything.
It's when you tap on it just the once and it skips like 2 pages and you're like, damn it.
Yeah, and I just can't deal with it. Like that's why I use this or my other tablet, and I turn the background black, and I make the lettering white, and then I turn down the brightness, and it works better in the dark. But I can still only get about an hour's reading out of it a day, and then I'm screwed for the rest of the day for reading. Dave says he's lost Handmaid's. Well, that's not too bad. That's Margaret Atwood, so I wouldn't worry about that. She should be lost. Oop, did I say that out loud? What?
The series is better.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I'm shocked that I said that out loud about Margaret Atwood.
I know. You're a Canadian as well.
I've met her. That's why. In the middle of reading last month, fortunately, my daughter and I each had a copy of it. You got 2 copies? Oh my God. Sorry. I just breathe deeply. I do have a copy of it as well because it's post-apocalyptic or whatever. So I should
Yeah,
read
I
it.
still need to read the second one because I want to know if you actually find out any more about what happened to her, because it just kind of ends.
I don't. I'd have to really like it, which I'm really unsure if I would, um, because it's Margaret Atwood.
I know. I have to finish a series. Even if I hate it, I have to finish it.
Do you have a reading area, Jenny? A cozy place inside your house or
Oh,
outside?
I'll read it anywhere. As soon as you leave me alone for more than 5 minutes, my Kindle comes out because it goes everywhere. I'll panic more if my Kindle goes missing more than I will if my phone goes missing, because I don't read on my phone, just on the Kindle.
Your Kindle's the normal size, like the Paperwhite one, is it? Is that
Yeah,
it?
just a normal paperwhite.
Yeah. Do you have any furry pets?
Nope. I work too much to have one. My best friend, she had a dog who just passed, but she's got another dog who's just hype for 12 years old. You would think he was 12 months old. I think he's forgotten that he's an old man now.
I sort of do that every time I get up. I realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that now. Well, Dave likes or liked. Um, what was the book we again? Sorry, no.
Handmaid's Tale.
Yes.
It wasn't too bad. It's like I've read worse.
Clearly has, I think, thoughts on Atwood. Yeah, there are. I have a few thoughts about her. A sequel to Handmaid's Tale isn't very good, Greg says. I've heard people say it was just a cash grab because the series was on and she just wanted to write a book that knew was going to make money.
Well, one of the parts that got curious, because I know that one of the points of view is one of the like antagonists from the first one. One of the can't remember what you call them, the ones in the brown outfits. And like, I'm curious to see what how it goes with her.
Is it a sequel or is it a prequel?
No, it's a sequel, so it's set. I think it's like 10 years later. Can't
Okay.
remember how much later, because it's like one of the point of views is somebody who's literally grown up in the new sort of like the new America and doesn't know anything about the old one.
Is it actually is it new anymore?
No.
Gareth says it's a great way to be. People are too attached to their phones.
It
Yeah.
can do everything though.
Aaron says he tried reading Handmaid's Tale, but gave up after a few chapters and reread Fatherland by Robert Harris instead.
I need to learn how to DNF. I just
Don't.
can't do it.
I don't most of the time, and I don't call a DNF if I just start a book and I get like 5 or 6 pages in, and I just go, no, I'm not in the mood for this. I don't call that a DNF. I don't think you get enough in for that, and I
I think
don't.
I'm just too stubborn.
Well, I stopped War and Peace because I wasn't feeling it at 30 pages in, but for a 1,400-page book, that's still not very far. And I'm sure I'll get back to it. There's a few books that I never finished, but it wasn't because I put it down. I didn't want to. There was other factors around. So again, is that a DNF? Well, you didn't technically you didn't finish it, but usually people don't finish a book because they don't like it. And these are ones that I did like. Like I do want to get back to Samuel Richardson's Clarissa, but I say this over and over. The first time I read it, I got or started reading, I got shingles. Then I tried it about I don't know how many years later. I tried it a second time, I got shingles, and I tried it again last year. Shortly after that, I got evicted from my last place.
What about what happened the fourth time?
Yeah, that's the scary part. So I think I'm just going to put it on hold for a little while. Maybe when I'm in the old old folks home, wired up on life support, then I can start reading it.
Or just have someone play you the audiobook as you drift off.
Yeah, I probably would drift off. But yeah, I don't know why. Well, I know why I haven't read this week is because I've been playing around with these pulps, and I shouldn't be. I should be reading the old. There was a movie.
Yeah, I didn't even realize there was until I think it was Dave had a video about it. I was like, there was a film?
When was that made?
I think it was the 70s or the 80s.
I didn't know that. It couldn't have had. Well, I don't know. I was just going to say it couldn't have had wide distribution, but that wouldn't have mattered. It's like I was watching a uh, a short, and they were naming a whole bunch of actors or something. I go, who are they? Who are they? What movie's that? I never heard of it, and it's a apparently big movie. You know. Oh, well, I do know Nastasia Richardson. She's still alive, or did she just recently die? Why did I think in my mind that she just, like, recently in the last couple of years died, sort of tragically?
Natasha, I'm sure she passed because wasn't she Liam Neeson's?
Yeah, there was something that, like, she
It was a
passed.
skiing accident or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, she hit her head, and then obviously later on she passed away. That's why they started telling everybody don't just sort of shrug it off.
Yeah, I didn't know Jess either. Well, by sounds of it, it's not worth it. But 1990. The movie was 1990.
Oh.
Yeah, Dave says yeah, she died from skiing accident. Yeah, I thought she did for some reason. I didn't know. Was she still married to Liam Neeson at that time, or?
Yeah, I think so, because I'm sure he was there as well.
Oh,
Because I don't even think, from what I remember them saying, I don't think it was a bad fall.
hmm.
It must have just been the way she hit her head. Because apparently she was like, she'd hit her head and then made it back to the hotel, and then that's when she passed away.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that happens probably more often than most people would like to think, or people getting aneurysms or something like that. They're fine, then all of a sudden they're gone. And I suppose that's maybe the best way to go rather than lingering. I suppose. I want to go under a pile of books. I think that's the best way to go.
That's certainly one way to go. Literally being excavated.
Oh, what genre do you read the most?
Oh, fantasy. It varies between like normal fantasy and urban fantasy, but I was trying to stay away from contemporary as much as possible. Real life's traumatic enough.
Hmm. And I asked you on this on the live, a fantasy reader. Did I know that?
Hmm.
Oh, favorite fantasy. Okay, I'll just be quiet now. Do your fantasy questions, and I'll pop them up, and then we can talk.
Oh no, it's been Lord of the Rings for like 20 years. Although I feel sad because I didn't start watching. I never read the book until after the films came out because I was never interested in it until I got a copy. Well, my dad had a pirate copy of the first one, which I probably shouldn't admit. Watched that one and went straight home and bought the book and then binged the book.
Is that
Hi,
20
Brian.
years since it's been out?
Yeah, it came out in 2001.
Blimey.
Same as the very first Harry Potter film. They both came out in 2001.
Jeez. Well, I knew Harry Potter was a little while ago, but yeah, I could have sworn it was like 2010 or something like that for the.
No, that was the Hobbit films
Oh, jeez.
because they came out almost exactly 10 years later.
I have no idea what that's referring to. Hopefully you do.
Oh, it's ACOTAR. I still haven't got all the way through ACOTAR yet.
Well, that was. Remember we talked about
Yeah,
this.
we talked about.
I was going to actually surprise begin the series again, but I'm still not up ready to do that because I just anyway, no. That hasn't really been done. You didn't think of it. It was too late to do it. So, but
Well,
it is on the books that could happen again in the future. I just need some other things because I don't want to do it on StreamYard here because when I record it on StreamYard, it thinks that it's old because if I don't put it up immediately and schedule it, then it thinks it's old and it just gets buried. I barely tiptoe into the fantasy. Uh, Sound advice. That's very good.
Fantasy's at ace. All the dragons.
Well, the dragons of Pern are okay.
Yeah, but that's a sci-fi.
Yeah. How do you feel about the new film? Okay, I
Oh, I'm
didn't.
apprehensive about that. I'm hoping that, unlike the Hobbit films, it's like Peter Jackson because it's the original team again, along with Andy Serkis. So I'm hoping if they stand their ground against the studios, we'll actually get a decent film and no interference because it's like the love triangle in the Hobbit films shouldn't have been there. The studio wanted it. And we're like, no. So hopefully.
Is this going to be based on Tolkien stuff, or is it just?
Yeah, it's supposed to be set sort of like when Gandalf and Aragorn were trying to find Gollum in the first place to find out what he knew. So it's like book-wise, it's set somewhere during that 17 years that Gandalf disappeared and left Frodo on his own. Which in the film, he wasn't gone that long, so I don't know what they intend to do with it.
That happens, and there's a 17-year gap
In the book, yeah.
in the books. Okay. See, I don't know. I haven't read them. Rage. What?
That's Brian's little nickname.
Ah. Yeah, because I still got to read that because Mark and I were gonna be reading that I guess last year, and that didn't happen. Oh, I did not like The Hobbit really at all.
The film or the book?
The book, I didn't care
Oh,
for
I
it.
love the book. It's so
Well,
much fun.
it's written too much for children. Like I mean, really young children, because he's writing down to the reader all the time, and I don't like that.
Hmm.
Like it
I
doesn't
think he
work.
wrote it for his kids when they were about 6 or 7, maybe
Yeah,
8.
but that's why it's written down towards
Mm.
them, and that's why it's always freaks me out when people are in their 30s and they have difficulty with it. And it's like, oh my god.
It's why a lot of people like Neil Gaiman's kids' books because he doesn't really talk down to kids.
Well, that's why. Like I was really surprised that when I was doing my second childhood or whatever I called it, and I finally got around to reading Paddington.
Mm.
I love it. I love Paddington, but because he doesn't talk down to you.
It's strange reading some of the kids' books I used to read because it was like the little vampire books are slowly becoming available on Kindle, and I used to love them as a little kid.
Currently reading number 2, Thorns and Roses, green cover book. I don't
It's
know what.
a fantasy romance.
Oh, okay. Would love to read the Harry Potter books. Ooh.
I keep getting through book 5 and then get halfway through book 5 and I'm like, I stall. I'm like, oh my god, keep going, keep going.
Well, the thing, if you read it as a kid, then yeah, I could see like the referring to the Hobbit here.
Mm.
But me reading it as an adult, it just didn't work because he just talks down to the reader, and it didn't work for me, and I couldn't put myself into the mindset of a 5-year-old or 6-year-old.
I'm permanently there, so it's fine.
7 maybe, but yeah, that's about as far as I go.
I read it every year. So it's like what was it? September, October, November, December. No, so it starts in August because I do Silmarillion first, then Hobbit, then Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King.
Well, a
And
friend
I've
of mine,
done that for a while now.
he said that I probably wouldn't like Hobbit, and he was more or less right. But he said I probably like the Lord of the Rings better. But he said
Mm.
I'd probably really like the Silmarillion.
Yeah.
So,
It's basically a collection of short stories with a like loosely all connected as a narrative.
but then is it all Tolkien? Like, is it?
He wrote all of the stuff. It's just it was his son Christopher Tolkien and Guy Gavriel Kay that basically can like sorted it all out to put it into a bit more linear.
He's Canadian,
It's
isn't
like
he?
it's when you get to the end of the Silmarillion and they literally can condense the entire trilogy, Lord of the Rings trilogy, into about 2 paragraphs. You're like, huh.
Well, that works for me. Maybe that's what I'll read instead of the trilogy. Gareth wants to know, what did you think of the Rings of Power series?
I do not speak of that abomination. It was the first time and the only time I've watched a show where it actually almost physically hurt to watch. Going, I don't know how someone who loves the lore so much can get everything wrong and still blame the fans for not liking it. And then, of course, now season 2's come out, and I'm like, one of the characters I want to bring in is Círdan, and he's one of my favorite characters from the books. And I'm like, oh, they're going to mess him up so bad.
Well, they do that all the time. Like, I haven't seen the second part of Dune. I saw the first part, and there's a very important thing that they got absolutely backwards, and it's like, how do you do that? How do you do that? But they did. They did it for sure. And it's
The
just
second part wasn't too bad. It's like I'm curious to see how they're going to fix the ending though, because the end of the book is not quite how it ends, obviously in the film. And I'm like, how are you going to fix that?
well, I hated the way they did it in the 1980s one. They made it rain, and it's like, what? Yeah, they made it rain.
Well, in the book and the film, they condensed the timeline, so they came the time skip. So his sister isn't born, so she doesn't exist at the end of the book yet. She's still their mom's still pregnant with her.
What,
I'm
in
like,
in the new film?
yeah, because I was
Oh,
kind of looking forward to seeing the little 5-year-old, got him.
yeah. Well, that was pretty good in the Lynch film there, where she's she's out there,
I love creepy
stabbing.
kids. Creepy kids are the best.
Music partner is obsessed with Dune books, and he loves films. Yeah, I liked the Sci-Fi Channel's version of it. I thought that was the best. There were a few things that were interesting in the Lynch one, but as a whole, I thought that was an abomination. Um, but yeah, I just didn't really care for um, the acting. So many things about that the first part of it that I didn't like. Um, like I couldn't even understand this Shamalama or whatever his name is. I couldn't understand half of what he was saying. And there's the one thing that really bugs me, and I've noticed it. It's somewhere around 2016 or so, TV and everywhere. People, they whisper so much, and they were trying to whisper very dramatically, and it's
Oh, the
like,
sounding's really bad in the film too. Because I remember watching it in the cinema. Because I've got a friend that goes to watch it with me, and it was like the music and the score and so loud you can barely hear what they're saying in some of the scenes. And you're like, well, this was tweaked wrong. So I'm hoping when it comes out on streaming, they'll have fixed that.
yeah, well, it's already out on. It's been out on streaming for quite a while
Yeah, I
on.
think Prime's got it,
Yeah,
but I
and they
think we've
want
got to
like
pay for it.
£20 for it. And it's like, you're having a laugh.
Mm.
If it was a pound, I'd still think it was a ripoff. But anyway, but yeah, no, it's just I just can't stand that mumbling and whispering that they do. Is that they try. I think they're trying to be dramatic and stuff like this. It's like, there's no need for you to be whispering to do a video with me about Dune. Oh. Well, I'm gonna. Aaron's heading up. Well, I'm gonna reread Dune in June. Dune in June.
Nice rhymes. I remember when I first read Dune, I was afraid I wasn't going to like it because everybody says, "Oh, it's just like Tolkien." I'm like, "Okay, like if you're young, he can be quite dense to get into." But I was like, "No, it's actually got a lot more action in it than Tolkien did."
Greg said Dune is a novel too good for film adaptations. Not interested in any film of the book. Yeah, that's the thing because it's there's certain things that are key to it that it won't work in a film. It just won't work in a film. So if they make a film of it, they've got to take something else to stand in for those things. And that
Mhm.
takes a talented writer and a talented director. I don't think there's such a things anymore for in Hollywood. But a series, if it was done as a slow series, like a 20 part, like 20 hours or something like that, you might be able to do that if it was done well.
Oh, we
Um,
are getting a Dune series, but it's based on the I think it's the origins of the Bene Gesserit.
oh, is there?
Mm.
Okay. Where's that coming out from?
Oh, I haven't a Scooby. I just saw one of the. I think it was a trailer for it, so they must have done it then.
But I love the director was saying because they gender swapped Leah Kynes, I think it was, and he says,
Yeah,
"Oh, because there's no strong women characters in there." I'm going, "Excuse
it's
me?"
like all the female characters were strong.
Yeah, it's the Bene Gesserit basically rule the universe. How much stronger can you get? You know?
But I was surprised they didn't address that either, because obviously she's supposed. Well, when it was still the dude that's Chani's father, but they never once mention it in this film. It's like, does that mean she's Chani's mother? But they never address it, so I don't know if they're supposed to be related.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing there with that. Which it and the other thing is too. Well, that just didn't work. That just wouldn't work at all because it's just the Fremen would not have thought of Liet Kynes in the same way. It's not. Yeah,
No,
I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. And the thing that I was saying, like the biggest thing was where Paul's talking to his father, and his father's saying, "Well, you don't have to do any of this. It's your choice." And I'm going, "Is that the 20th century thing that everybody's supposed to have a choice? You don't have to do anything." It's like, no, the whole point or a big part and point of Dune is that he does this because he has no choice. He doesn't really feel like he has a choice. He knows what's going to happen, but he's got to go down this path, and that's a big internal conflict because he knows he has to do it. Because if he doesn't do it, worse shit's going to happen. But
it
why do
does.
they do that? What?
It does happen.
Yeah, but but why do they feel that they need to change that? That really bugged me. And there's because like if you take away certain things from certain stories, you have no story. And if you take away the religion and the politics from Dune, what do you got?
Yeah, that was the whole point. It's a political sci-fi.
Yeah, and that's what like they're supposed to be doing. Dan Simmons Hyperion. Somebody's bought that to do it, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything else with that. But it's like, how are they going to do that? It's like, are they going to just throw everything out and just do a action-packed space opera?
Oh, probably.
I suppose you could do that, and I suppose you could do that. Well, they've done that with Dune. They just strip away everything and just do the superficial story. But with novels, like Greg says there, with novels, I think that complex, there's no way that they're ever gonna do a film that 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 fans are gonna like, or there might be a few that will. And I don't know. Would you say um, Lord of the Rings is as complex or as deep as Dune? You've read both, so
No, uh, Lord of the Rings is predominantly just kind of an adventure story.
okay,
I mean, you do get some of the politics. That's more in the Silmarillion when you get to see what all the family ties and things like that. But it's
yeah.
pretty straightforward.
So yeah, so that was that because I was thinking because that I guess the films satisfied most
Mhm.
fans. I think, as from what I understand.
Yeah, I think the thing that they have in common is obviously all the lore that goes with it, and it doesn't seem to matter how much you get. You always want more.
Well, the only thing with Dune, you got the Dune Encyclopedia, which actually Frank Herbert had a say in doing it.
And the 3,000 books that his son did.
Well, that he has nothing to do with that. I don't think Herbert had anything to do with it. It's like he probably wrote a page or something that talked about some back history or something like that, and they're just filling it in. But I still wouldn't mind reading them. That's the thing. I wouldn't mind reading them. I know everybody says they're shite, but I still wouldn't mind reading them.
Yeah, but are they fun shite or bad shite?
Well, that's the thing, and I can't see them being as deep as Dune at all, but or the whole series. A lot of people say the books get worse as they go through, and I go, well, have you read Chapter House Dune? Have you read Heretics of Dune? I
I've
don't
only
think
read
you
the
have,
first one so far,
but
but I'm only reading the main six that Frank Herbert wrote. I'm not
yeah,
going to read the others.
I that's what I say. Like what I am due for a full reread of the series, but I don't know if I'm gonna do. I'm definitely not gonna do that in June. I don't have enough time to do that because July is and there's another big reading project that's like 40 or 4,000 pages again, and then August I got another one that's got 3,500 pages if I ever get around to it. So that's with the Earthworm character for that. But yeah. So what do you're gonna continue reading what you've got there for this coming week, or
Yeah.
you're gonna
So I've
start?
got some that I'll listen to on audiobook, so it's quite handy for the bus or when I'm at home. And then I've got books without an audiobook that I have propped up in my till again at work. And I'll just sort of like read a couple of paragraphs between customers.
Oh God, that would drive me nuts to
Oh,
read.
it's great.
But yeah.
It was just as funny in the post office. The post office was the funniest one because I had it propped up, sitting reading it, and a customer came over to me when I still had like two sentences left in a chapter, and I literally went, "Hold that thought." Literally finished my chapter, and the customer pissed himself off. It's always good when they're a reader as well.
So is it closer to work so you got or longer so you got more time on the bus to read?
Oh, it's literally two doors from the post office. I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
move far, so it's the
Yeah,
exact same time.
that was the one thing when I was working. Like even though um, I had less because you're working, you have less time to read or during the day, but there's a lot of time you can fill in. Like say reading a few paragraphs that would drive me nuts, but reading a few pages, I always got by with that. Like reading on the bus, waiting for the bus, at breaks at work and everything like that. So I always found that there was an extra 2 hours there per day at least that I was able to read and that was just and without even noticing it.
That's why I quite like audiobooks. They're quite handy for that because I can even have that playing whilst I'm doing like getting on the bus, off the bus.
Well,
Although
that's where I was.
Planlands was not a good one to do that with it. My God, it was so funny because it's based on, it's Sam Heughan and Graham McTavish from Outlander. So this is basically their book about when they did their Men in Kilt series that was on Amazon Prime, and they just bicker like an old married couple. Like Graham McTavish is worried that Sam's going to kill them in the car, and then Sam likes annoying Graham because Graham likes his latte every 20 minutes.
I love the way you said, as you know. Yeah, I do. But yeah, no, with the audiobooks, that would be good when you're actually at work when you got customers. That would be actually that would be the ideal situation. So then you wouldn't
Oh,
have to.
great way to block out everybody.
Yeah, but yeah, no, the thing is now I get about on a really good day, which they're few and far between now, I get about 5 to 6 hours of reading in, and I was still able to do that when I was working. That's the thing. And I'm not working anymore. I live a life of leisure, but I can't read any more than that because I'm out of it or too sleepy or doing other things. It's ridiculous. Uh, but how do you wind up getting about 3 4 hours a day or?
Sundays I can. I mean, it's like because I get 3 days off where I don't work at all, and when I'm not with like Amy, I'll literally just sit with my Kindle and make the audiobook, and I'll just blitz through at least an entire book if it's nice and short. I'll hopefully get through 2.
Yeah, because I remember I used to come home because I binge TV. Well, I don't have TV, but I would binge TV shows and things like that. But I I would come home from work usually, and I would read for 3 hours. Like that would be in the evening, 3 hours. So then I've got some comments here. Just a whole bunch just popped up. Crikey. There was no comments, and then all of a sudden there's about 6 of them that popped up. Okay, sorry, let's get to the mirror. Gareth saying, Jenni, that's literally what Henry Bemis does in Twilight Zone episode reading while working at the bank. Have you seen that? I know what he's referring to.
Never watched Twilight Zone.
You are Henry Bemis. And there's Pat. Hi, Jenni. Sean, hello. I am sorry I can't stay, but wanted to stop by and say hello. So lovely to see you both. Probably gone. The messages didn't come up. Dave said, "Oh my God, I totally thought of Henry Bemis when she was talking." Gareth says, "Hey, Pat."
It's the best way to get through a long shift.
Well, with reading it a little bit at a time.
Well, you can have like a couple of times. It's like you can have a good like hour or 2 with no customers.
Oh.
And then other times it's like it'll be all go. So it's like sometimes you'll get through. I mean, I remember currently my record is through 2 chapters before a customer came in. I was like, yes.
I used before I went to university for a while, I worked as a security guard. Well, I did it off and on, but I remember there was one place that was so difficult. I had to. Well, I worked from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and twice during the night I had to go out to check the temperature on an asphalt vat where they were doing asphalt. That's all I did for 12 hours shift. So I just read, and I was reading ancient history, Roman and Greek history for like, and that's where I could sit and read for 11 hours. And I read 11 hours every day. And I was doing this 7 days a week for, I think, 3 or 4 months. So I was reading 11 hours a day. I'd go home, eat, go to bed, and then get up.
I love good long stretches where you're just reading. Normally I have like all my food and drink around me.
Yeah, I can't do that anymore. I remember at university, I would do that. Like it was like during reading week, especially in February. Uh, I would get the food in, I'd unplug the phone, and yeah, I just close the curtains and just read. I'd get a series, and I would just read it all week. And yeah, read 10, 15 hours a day. I can't do that anymore. Yeah, watch the episode Time Enough at Last. You might relate to it, and you might recognize the ending even if you haven't seen it. Just don't go into your vault. Well, no, maybe, yeah, maybe go into the vault. Hi, Pat. How is your Sunday going so far? And Gareth says, hi, Pat. I want to know more about these 142 series that you're currently reading. I didn't even know there'd be that many if it's all fantasy.
They're not all fantasy. Most of them are, though. It was just sort of like it was. I think it was a 2-year stretch, and I just kept going in and starting a book, and then going, oh look, a new one, and then a new one, and then a new, and then I accidentally made the mistake of actually listing out all the series that I'd started, and went, oh, I need to get this under control. So it's like for this year, next year, I'm not allowed to start any new series until I get at least half of them knocked off.
At the risk of you listing them all, but don't, but because we could be here for forever. But what are the highlights?
Let's see if I can find it. Can't even find my Google Docs. Because I have an entire Google Docs just with my series that I've started. So my Alice in Borderland, but there's only 2 left in that to read. That's a graphic novel, so it's fine. Anita Blake, there's about 30 books in that series, unfortunately. The ones I've only got 1 left to read to catch up is The Band. What else do I need to catch up on? I keep forgetting about Dark Tower. I keep picking it up and then putting it down. Discworld, I'm about halfway through that. Dresden, I'm about halfway through that. Farseer, I got through 1 book and went, "Ooh, this was harsh."
Aaron
Jurassic
says,
Park, I've only got the 1 left of that to read.
like Aaron says, it might be easier to ask you what you're not reading.
I know.
Well,
So when
you
I look at
actually
and
did hit
realize
a
that
few,
most of them are either sci-fi or fantasy, I'm like, "Oh, I thought I had a bit more other choices than that."
but you did hit a few that I recognize. So
Mm.
yeah, so that's good.
So I mean, I think it's currently there's about 15, where it's literally only the last book to read. And then there's a couple more where there's only 1 more to read and then I'm caught up, but there's still more to come out. So hopefully I'll get caught up.
Bye, Greg. Thanks for stopping by. And I guess at least the Discworld books aren't tightly related.
Yeah, but
And
they're funny.
there's not going to be any more either. That's the thing. What is there? There's how many others?
42 of them.
How many?
There's 42. So I have all of them.
I thought there was only 20 some.
No.
Well, there was the last time I looked, but that could have been 25 years ago. And Dave said he just bought the first Discworld book today.
I
I
like Discworld. It's really funny.
I like there's a spin-off series about a devil or a saint or what is it now or something like that I thought was pretty funny. I can't remember the name of it. Gareth asks, how many of the Dresden books have you read? He's only read 2.
I've read 8 so far. I'm on book 9.
I've read 1. I've read the first one and I enjoyed it. So definitely want to read more. So I probably have a lot of series too that I'm either there's one that seems to be a perpetual that I don't think I'll ever finish it because I everything fell apart last year. It's the Dance to the Music of Time, and I just keep thinking that keep persevering with this, and it's going to turn a corner, and there's going to be something that'll be interesting to me. So far, not. And then there's other series the other series that I was reading at the time was Strangers and Brothers, and I will get back to the problem is when I start that, I lose concept of everything else, and I just want to read it all the way through, all 11 books, which is difficult because it takes a lot of time. They're about 300 some pages each.
That was one of my favourite childhood memories, was sitting on the sofa with my mum, and she was wanting me to do something, but I wasn't paying attention. I was reading my book and hadn't realised I'd been like sitting in the same position for about 3.5 hours, and she had to kick me to get my attention. I was like, but it was good.
Yeah, well, I used to do that. I'm lucky if I can get an hour, maybe an hour and a half now, constant reading before I've got to move. I just get stiffened up, or I have to make a little walk down to the little room. But yeah, or I'm getting too tired or something like that, or my brain just stops, and that bugs me because I do miss the time that like that when I would yeah, I'd get up in the morning or early-ish, like 6 or 7 o'clock, have something to eat, and then all of a sudden it would be noon. have lunch, and then all of a sudden it'd be 6 or 7 o'clock, and then so I'd eat again, and then all of a sudden it would be 1 o'clock. It would be 1 a.m. and then I'd start the process over again. Snooze for
I've
a little.
noticed I only ever do that if I've got work early the next morning. I'll be up reading till like 2 a.m. I'm like, but I'm almost finished.
Jim's here. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
But yeah, I really miss those days. And Al's here. Hello. Yeah, it's only like he's in the right time zone, I guess. Al is in the UK, isn't he? I think he is, isn't he? Or
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
yeah. And Gareth saying hi to Jim and Al. Yeah, that's whatever time zone I'm in at the time is the right time zone. Yeah, yeah, he is. He is. But I thought he was, but then all of a sudden, once I said it, I second guessed myself because I think because what is it now? It's got to be 3 o'clock on the eastern seaboard. Eastern? Yeah, Eastern. That's what, or in Canada as well, where Jim is. And is there anybody else here? Well, we still got 13 people on here, but um, oh, sorry, you probably heard that. My stomach likes to talk at times. Al is just big. The USA. Al is big.
I'm sure he is.
Now, no spot. We're British. Well, we're not all British, but no. Oh yeah, there was that. You taught like I sent you a little short, and I thought that was just a hilarious thing because it was you. The quote was from what was the quote again? What was the sentence from Train Spotting?
Oh, I can't remember. I haven't watched that film in about 20 years.
Yeah. But it's basically short that somebody's taken out of their window and there's an incident happening on the street and they use something a quote from Ewan McGregor from Train Spotting. I can't remember what it is. Something about the Scottish and British or whatever.
Mhm.
And basically you see a cop run across the street and then you see a guy with a chainsaw chasing the policeman. I thought it was funny.
It's not the strangest thing that's happened in Scotland. Aberdeen alone, we had a guy get his head stuck in one of the bins at Castlegate. I don't know what on earth he was doing to get his head in there, but
He must have had a very big head.
yeah.
Those are important distinctions. What did I walk into? Yeah, you always do that. Sean is making sure it stays very chilled. Well, it's all going above my head.
Chilled would make it smaller, not bigger.
And well, comment. Like I don't know what's happening to the comments. I don't know if I'm missing any because all of a sudden there's nothing, and all of a sudden a bunch pop up. Al could have been that Portland Al. Was muscular hard rather than oh okay, yeah, you're talking about Alan the Big Hard Books classics. Yeah, sorry, my brain sometimes takes a little while to connect the dots.
It's
And
like there's so many Marks and Allens, and you mix them all up after a while.
well, I love it when you got something like Mark's channel's Book Time with Elvis, and he gets referred to all the time as Elvis, or Mark Richardson because it's Richardson Reads. He's how you doing, Richard? Portland now is very sexy, right? I think it depends on how many drugs you're taking before that statement can be correct. But anyway, Well, what else? You just did about 3 or 4 or 5, well, maybe 10 of the A's. So jump down to the middle.
The middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything of interest?
Odd Thomas.
Well, never heard of that.
Oh, the film's great. It's based on Dean Koontz books. The sad thing is, though, it's got Anton Yelchin in it, so we'll never get any more.
I have no idea who that is either.
He played Chekhov in the new Star Trek films.
Okay, I haven't seen those.
Uh,
I'm a really good person to talk to about modern stuff. Nope, never heard of that. Nope, never listened to that. Nope, haven't seen that. Who's that?
I've still got one more of the Practical Magic books to read.
When
Ready Player 2.
When you hit something that I do know, I'll say it. Okay, rather than the other way around.
Okay. See if I can find one that you might have read or heard of at least. Sandman.
Heard of it.
Shannara.
Heard of it.
Sharp.
Oh, I've read a couple of those. Yeah.
Song of Ice and Fire.
Heard of it.
Southern Reach.
Nope.
Oh, you're technically caught up. Okay, so technically I have 141, not 142.
Well, actually, going back to Song and Ice or whatever it's called, there's some connections here because if I cut my beard shorter and I put a cap on, people have mistaken me for George R.R. Martin.
You do look like a bit like him.
My nose needs to be a bit flatter though, to be perfect for it. And I don't know if he just wear different glasses as well. But apparently, somebody told me there's a castle in there that's called Castle Standfast as well in the story.
I'm only partway through book 2. Probably has, and I haven't noticed.
I don't know. That's what I've been told. Aaron was saying, here's my favorite news story from Scotland was the police finding a man on the roof of an off license and him being told that playing hide and seek wasn't a good enough reason to be there at 2 a.m.
Oh, I miss playing hide and seek at 2 a.m. That was great fun.
Jess says she needs to go. Very nice to meet you, Jenny. Bye, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Sharp, Big Al likes Sharp.
I've only got it because I like the series.
You like V.E. Schwab.
Yeah, that's one of the series that I realised that I'd caught up on because I was reading the Villain series. So it's Vicious and Vengeful, and I'm just waiting for the third one to eventually come out.
Don't know it.
Oh, it's great. It's like technically they're both kind of bad guys, and especially in Vicious, and you don't know which one to side with.
Well, I've got to now it's going to be your turn to do this. I got to do the finish the Strangers and Brothers series. You know that one, right? The Zola's Rougon Macro series. You know that one, right? It's 20 volumes.
That sounds horrifying.
Well, I'm mispronouncing it, but it's a family, 2 branches of a French family going through. I think it's the Second Empire in France, and it's written like in the 1860s. And one of the last ones that I read, I was surprised with. Like he gets very erotic at times, but not pornographic. Well, not quite. But like the one was where this younger woman marries this older guy who has a teenage son. You can see where it's going here. And this is this. So he was banned in a few places, and I love the 1950s covers of the translations. The 1950s sort of spicy covers, and that's like but it's considered literature. It's but it was sold as smut.
I still haven't even managed to get through Three Musketeers. It's the only French book I have.
Well, that's a series. There's a whole series of that as well.
Yeah, I didn't realize there was more of them until I think I bought it and it says there's about 4 of them. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, more than that. Well, if you count the or you maybe just count them as parts. Oh, I can't think of the name. But anyway, there's a guy that's translating them all, and I'm waiting till they're all done. Well, I can start reading some of them, I think, but he's not quite there yet to be all done. And he's usually adding material as well. I'm waiting for him to do Count of Monte Cristo, and there's talk, and I've heard several people mention this, and on some sites there could be another 300 or 400 pages added to the already 1,200 page book.
That's
Which
what happens when people tell them we like big books. So they get bigger and bigger and bigger.
well, I think it's all stuff that was because it was serialized, so it's all stuff that was put in the newspaper or a magazine wherever it was serialized, and and usually, and then they realize, oh, wait a minute, he died in the first 500 pages, but all of a sudden he's alive in page 1,000. Oops.
Hey, if Jesus Christ can do it, why not?
Yeah. Well, he's a character in definitely in the Ring World series.
I
He,
remember you were saying.
yeah, he wakes up. He's a little confused,
I
waking
don't
up.
think that was where he was meant to be.
Yeah, and then he wrote another story. Philip Jose Farmer. It's called JC on the Dude Ranch. Jesus Christ on the Dude Ranch, and it came up apparently from a letter that Robert Bloch wrote him, and I forget what the full story is, but he just said something. He's like, "Yeah, oh no, yeah." Philip Jose Farmer was asking Robert Bloch about, "Do you know this book?" And he's saying, "Well, you might as well ask me about Jesus Christ on the Dude Ranch, you know." And he just throw and Philip Jose Farmer, he would throw out things like that, and then Philip Jose Farmer asked him, "Can I take that and write a story?" So he did. So it's JC on the Dude Ranch with a massive schlong. That's what the story's about, basically. It's just, Phil Jose Farmer can be a bit bizarre. Um, yeah, let's just put it that way. A bit bizarre. Um, yeah. No, maybe not just a bit, but he can be good. I think the one things that were really considered over the top was his The Lovers, where it's sort of sex between humans and plant aliens. And then another, what's the other one called, where the humans come back to a future on Earth where there's this post-apocalyptic, and the one guy gets sort of it's almost that he gets becomes part stag and part human, and he's got to go across the land and uh, having sex with every woman, basically.
Sounds like something William Shatner would write.
Yeah, well, it's absolutely bizarre, but it actually is really good. All this stuff is pretty like it's if you've never read, well, I think Gareth is going to be reading some Philip Zay Farmer. But he's definitely worth reading. That's the thing. It's just anything by him is worth reading. Next year, I'm going to do the River World series again. I definitely got to reread that, and maybe we're going to have to figure. I have to figure out something that we can read together. Because it's I know it's a limiting thing here because it's not going to be fantasy unless it's a short fantasy.
Mhm.
If it's a
There's
series,
lots
no.
of short ones at least.
Hmm?
There's a lot of short ones at least.
Well, yeah. Well, it's under 300 pages. Then yeah, I might be able to do that. But anything that's a series, no, no, no. I'm not touching it. Not with a barge pole. Uh, I
Well,
just
technically, I can't read anything but standalones along with my series for at least a couple of years. So as long as it's a standalone, I'll be fine.
or well, you do read science fiction, so. Oh, have you read the you mentioned because I read the prequel to it. Short prequel, big book. Um,
Oh, the To Sleep in a Sea of Stars.
yes,
Yeah, I've got the prequel. I haven't read it yet. Fractal Noise. I have it, but I just haven't read it yet.
yeah, I read that. I haven't read the other one.
Yeah,
So
I've read To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. I like that one.
there was things that I just like for the fractal. It was short, but it should have been 5 pages long. So I didn't quite get it. Like like he was really padding that out.
Mhm.
But there were some interesting things in it that I definitely want to look at. So no, I was thinking if you hadn't read the To Sleep in the Sea of Stars, then that could be something because I am interested in reading that. Um, oh, have you read the? We mentioned it, American Gods. Have you read that?
Yeah, I've got that ready for a reread for next year. So I
Okay,
need to
then
reread that one because I haven't
might be
read it
able
in a
to,
while.
might be able to do that then. Because I don't because oh I'd like to at least try something else by Neil Gaiman because I've seen TV shows based on the stuff, radio programs that I enjoy. So I should actually read something to see if I enjoy his reading, his writing.
Well,
So
Graveyard Book's my favourite. I reread that one at least once a year as well.
is that
Chaz
short?
always goes for The Ocean at the End of the Loon.
How big is the graveyard one?
350 pages, I think, give or take.
Well,
It's
that's not.
quite short because it's a kid's book,
Oh, okay. So
but
that's
it's great because for kids' books, they can be quite scary, and you're like, I love it.
oh, all of a sudden comments here. Totally see the Martian connection, Sean. The Martian connection.
Martin.
Oh, Martin. Sorry.
Yeah. And in both cases, put a little hat on you, and you're both Dumbledore.
Also, too. Apparently. Oh yeah. Well, is it? Yeah. Who played Dumbledore?
Michael Gambon and who was the other one? Richard Harris was the first one.
Yeah. No. No. It's the other. He was on there. I think.
Yeah, Michael Gambon played him after Richard Harris died.
Yeah. No. That's not who I was thinking of. Um. What's his name? I forget his name. He played the detective on Pie in the Sky. Richard Grip.
Oh yeah, aye, he's in
Richard.
Harry Potter as well. He plays the Dursley uncle though, Vernon.
Yeah.
He plays Harry's
Uh,
uncle.
yeah. I probably told the story already, but it's worth telling again. He lived in or near Stratford upon Avon, and I visited there the Christmas after he died, which he'd only died maybe about 4 or 5 months before. And apparently I look like him too, or I can.
Mm.
And the people were pointing to me saying, that's who it was. And then like, every time I go into a pub, and somebody said, no, no, he's dead. He died. And it's like, well, he looks pretty good for being dead. It's like, yeah, thank you. Jenny, did you watch the Walking Dead series?
I got through I think 6 seasons. So it's like I literally ended it. Okay, it was like right before. Oh, what was his name? The kid. What's his name? That's gonna bug me now. Carl. Right before Carl Kane exited the show. That was one of the last episodes I watched, and I haven't watched it since. I think I'd need to start again.
What is there, 20 seasons? And then there's all the spin off ones as
I know.
well.
There was one of the spin-offs looked quite good. It's got like Daryl Dixon, and it looks like he's in Spain somehow. I'm like, interesting. But I want to watch more of it because it's like Negan can he's such an awesome character, and I want to King. It's like he even gets a redemption arc. And I'm like, really?
How can you watch 6 seasons and finish it? Yeah, but if
Well,
there's 20,
yeah, but it's TV is different. TV I can DNF and not can like simply put it down and never go back to it and not even realize I've done it. Books I can't. It irritates me for some reason. I think it's because you put a lot more time into the books.
well, one thing I did sort of watch pretty quickly, and I didn't think I would. I didn't think I'd like it. There was a lot of things I disliked about it, but what is it called? Supernatural, I think it was. Like there's 15.
It's one of my favorite shows. I love it.
Yeah, like I was bored and I just watched a couple episodes and I go, okay, I like the way that they brought in the music. I like the way that they used the music with it because they did that well. And so I kept watching it, and then the next thing I know, I'm finished it. Yeah, 15 seasons. It's like, God, I haven't sort of binge watched anything like that for a long time.
Yeah, Supernatural is the reason I have some. Is it Bad Company and Free? Is it Free? Aye, Free and Bad Company. I've got like a couple of their albums purely because of listening to it on Supernatural.
Negan.
Negan's an awesome character. He's such an evil
Oh,
character when you first meet him.
is that in the Walking
Walking
Dead?
Dead.
Negan is a tool. Al, if you're Walking Dead fan, me and Dave are doing a special soon on it. Be a guest. Totally agree with you about DNFing books. Uh, Free are one of my favorite bands. Why can't I? I can't think of who Free is. Free what? Free. I can't think of who that is. I should know. I should know who that is, but I can't think of who that is.
I just remember my mum looking at me with utter confusion when I was sitting listening to their album at one point. She went, "How do you even know who they are?" I went, "Supernatural."
Seen the Daryl Dixon series and the Negan one. They're both good, despite having seen the one. So yeah, yeah. There's just too much. I don't think I don't want to get caught up in something. Okay, if I like it, then I don't want to like it. Like so, that's
Mhm.
why I want to stay away from it. Like I only want to watch something now that's really short. Um, um, either a film or something that's only a couple seasons long. They'll stick with British series, so they're usually fairly
I'll just
short.
stick with most things on Netflix. Netflix gets like 2 seasons, and on the third one, they axe it, even if it's doing well, and you're like, "Really?
Well, what's the one with the kids?
Stranger
Uh,
Things?"
yeah, somebody told me to watch that, and I kind of liked it, and I watched that through. And that was the thing that there was something that really bugged me in this. I'm going, how stupid is this? It's like, below a mall, there's uh, the Russian army in an American soil, has this huge installation that nobody knows about. And then later they go, fly into Russia and break someone out of prison and nobody stops them and all this kind of stuff. And I go, how stupid is this? And I'm sitting there going, yeah, it's just all that's just really stupid. But the supernatural monsters are believable. Yeah.
I can believe in telekinesis before I believe the Russians are hiding.
But yeah, it's just like, it's just like doing. Most famous song is All Right Now. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know why. I can't think of them for some reason. Yeah, okay. I do know the stuff. I just don't know why. I just got Yeah, I watched Fallout and that was interesting. Um I like I like the music. I like there's certain well, they're doing that better now. They're putting music in that fits for the scenes. They did that with Supernatural.
Mhm.
And another one that was for, I think it was Totally Prime, which I really loved, and it's one of the few series in decades that I've seen where they actually ended it on a well without just going, oh, I don't know how to end it, so we'll just do something stupid. Was the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I think it was called. I think that's what it was
Yeah,
called.
that one got a lot of good reviews.
Really, really well done, well acted, and the music in that was really good as well. And like every like they have the period music throughout it, but then they'd have at the credits they would use a more contemporary rock type song, but that song had to do with what the episode was about, and I thought that was really well done.
See, they used to do that in the 90s because it was like Charmed and Buffy the Vampire Slayer used to be the same. It used to have some quite good music through it. Ooh.
Oh, something happened there. You were
Maybe it's the
saying,
magic.
yeah, because as soon as you did that,
I went,
all of a sudden it did that. But you were saying something about Buffy and
yeah, Buffy and Charmed, they used to have a lot of like music as well because they used to have like guest performers on the show because it was like both of them centered around a club game for a while, and then all of a sudden they stopped doing that.
yeah, I never watched Charmed, but I did find out I was ill with one thing, and I watched the Buffy series.
The original show was alright. I don't know about the remake. I've heard the remake's pretty bad.
Did they actually do the remake? I didn't know they
Yeah,
actually did it.
they made a remake.
Gareth, did you know they did a novel series based on the Governor? I guess are we still talking about?
He's a character from The Walking Dead.
Oh, okay.
So the first few books, it shows you him basically becoming the evil character that he was in the series.
And I guess he's hoping to start that this week. Oh yeah, I've read two of them. Fall is a bit violent.
It's fun violence.
But I noticed Kyle MacLachlan still hasn't learned how to act, but that's oh well.
Is he the one that plays the ghoul?
No, he's the father, or the one that was running the shelter.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, he just can't act his way out of a wet paper bag.
I'm only halfway through the series so far.
They seem to have forgotten that they can pan away from the exploding heads.
But why would you want to? You get to
But
see
yeah,
how little brains most actors have. Poof.
yeah, I thought it was kind of. If we're still talking about the Fallout, I'm assuming that's what that is. I don't remember much of it now after I watched it when it was on there, but I kind like I say I kind of liked it. There was things that I liked about it, but you could tell it is from. Well, I didn't know anything about any game, but you can sort of once you know that you go, yeah, I can see it's from a game.
It's
Um,
like a few of them seem to have realised that if they're basing it on a game, if they don't take themselves too seriously, it seems to work better. Because there's the new film, I just saw the trailer for it yesterday when I was in the cinema, and it was for the new Borderlands film, which looks like so much fun.
is that a game as well then? Or?
Apparently, it's a game as well. I don't game much, so it's like I was just sort of looking at it going, "You look like you'd be a game," and it was mate was like, "Yeah, it's a game." I'm like, "It looks like so much fun."
Gareth saying Charmed was his wife's favorite show for ages. It did seem like it was more of a female audience, and I think
Yeah,
Buffy was, I think, split between two. I think it was split between the both. Or if I watched it, then it has to be.
I think it was just the sort of sense of humor that's in Buffy, sort of kind of far more universal, whereas Charmed focuses pretty much only on the three sisters.
It basically was a modern version of Bewitched, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I watched it by proxy. And I did from that. I did watch. Oh, um, Angel. I watched Angel. Um, that seemed a little more hard hitting to me than Buffy, because Buffy was very joke
It was teen,
oriented.
yeah.
Yeah, and the other one wasn't. I loved the way they ended the whole series, though. I thought that was good. I thought, yeah, that fits. That fits.
I really liked the last season of Buffy, though. There were some really good moments in that one.
I don't remember.
And a
Like
couple of those deaths hurt.
I don't. Yeah, that's the thing. I just don't see. I watch these things, and I enjoy them while they're going on, but it's rare that I remember them. Like I enjoy them. It's like even Supernatural. There's only a couple things that I now remember of it, and but other shows that I really like that I would like to watch again is something like a person of interest,
Person of interest.
and that's the same director as Fallout. That's
Oh,
why
right,
I
okay.
decided to watch Fallout.
Person of interest is another one I had to start again because it was like I got partway through, then stopped watching. I think I got distracted with other things, and then I got some spoilers about some of the characters that die, and then one of the bad guys is now on their team, is one of the good guys. I'm like, what did I miss? Back to the start again.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that, and that is something that I would watch again. But most of the stuff, yeah, I watch it and enjoy it while it's on, but then I don't. It's like going back to Dresden. When I read the first book, I was saying to Brandy at the book collecting, everything seems so familiar in this, and I didn't know why. And I just sort of thought, oh, well, he must be pulling stuff from all sorts of other books that I might have heard about or read. And then I had Prime again, and there was a series called Dresden. So I thought, oh, I'll watch this, and I go, I've seen this. So I did
There was
like about
parts of the series I quite like. I like the fact that instead of having a staff, he had a hockey stick. I actually quite liked that change. But I quite liked the show until I read the books and went, oh, this is why everybody's upset. Because it's like I find that I can enjoy an adaptation better if I read this stuff after I watch the source material, after I watch the show or the film. It doesn't tend to make me as angry. Whereas if I read it first and then watch the show or the film, it's like you're like, oh, that's wrong, no.
but I think but that's a perfect example of I watched it, and but it took me about the fourth episode in to realize I'd actually seen it.
Mhm.
And so yeah, so then that made sense. But that's an example of I'll watch something and enjoy it, but don't remember specific things unless it's something that really makes an impression on me. And most TV shows don't anymore. Like I
Mhm.
say, that marvelous Mrs. Maisel did, um, and the person of interest did. Another one that did at the beginning was the Man in the Castle. I thought that was absolutely marvelous until the last season, and I go, these people just didn't have a clue how to end this, and they just destroyed it.
I felt that way with Game of Thrones. You felt so bad because if the two showrunners, if they'd actually nailed the ending of Game of Thrones, they could have literally picked and chose whatever job they wanted after that, but they decided to rush it. And you're like, oh, really? You were this close.
Yeah, because I don't know where that was being played on, but at the time it was playing, everybody was talking about it, and I would occasionally see previews of it somewhere, either on, well, it must have been on YouTube or something like that. And I just thought the dialogue was so stilted and so bad, and the acting so bad. And I'm going, how is this a hit TV series? And but again, and then I sort of realized what it was about, and I go, yeah, I'm not interested because it's fantasy again. I'm not interested in that, and definitely not interested in reading it in any shape or form. You
Well,
know,
most of Game of Thrones is political anyway, because he based it on the War of the Roses. So mostly it's all the families all fighting with each other for came for power, just with
yeah,
some dragons thrown in and some ice zombies.
ice zombies. Okay, I'm trying to figure out. I know what a zombie is, but how does it become? How do you make ice a zombie?
It's they do actually show it in the show as well, kind of like how the first White Walker was made, and you're like, "Ooh, that's interesting."
But yeah, it's just like those kind of things can be interesting. But I suppose I would have more interest in watching fantasy than reading it. I generally because it used to be the same thing with murder mysteries. I used to watch it more than I read it, but now I'm I will read a lot of that, a lot of the older stuff, but generally I just didn't. I I don't know. It didn't work for me in book form. And the only fantasy really I've read, I've never picked up a book that was pure fantasy and read it without knowing anything about the author or anything like that. If it's an
Mhm.
author that wrote science fiction and then wrote some fantasy, and I like the author, I've read it. So that's a very, very small number of fantasy books I've read.
Well, there's not many that do both anymore, which is a shame. Christopher Paolini does both though, because he's got a fantasy series.
Yeah, but that's a kids series, isn't it? Or young adult, that one?
Young adult, yeah. It's basically like Star Wars, but with dragons instead.
Oh, you're really selling that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when you're a kid, you love it though. You eat it all up.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I call it like they always. I love it how they've changed the name of juvenile books or kids books, and they're calling them now young adult. They just throw in some swear words or sex, and it's becomes young adult or something like that.
Even young adults, not even young adult anymore.
And what is it now then?
They seem to be aging it all up. They're writing it all for adults now. It's like for the last, I think they've noticed for about the last 10 years, it's like anything that's aimed at kids seems to be written for like women in their mid 20s or 30s. And you're just like, this is for kids. Because they keep asking, oh, is there kind of spice in this YA book? I'm like, it's a kid's book. There shouldn't be. At least not the kind of spice they want.
Well, that's where they should just pick up Paddington Bear. Just pick up a Paddington book. That's a good one. He doesn't
It
have
doesn't
sex.
exactly help. They age the YA from like 12 to 18. I'm like, okay, I don't know what most people were like, but who I was at 12 and who I was at 18, very different people.
Yeah, because the stuff that I would call, well, that's the thing. None of the juvenile stuff that was classed as juvenile never had sex in or stuff like that. It was just well, it was things like Treasure Island and stuff like that. Like talking about older books. Those were juvenile. And yeah, there's nothing like that in those.
Well, the
Um,
ones I grew up with, it was all based on like friendships and family, whereas now young adults all about romance, like your first love. I'm like, oh God, no. Why would you want to remember that?
well, that's the thing. Like, I guess, yeah, because to me, young adult, the term should mean 18 and like 18 and 20, between 18 and 25 or
Yeah,
19.
but they start it at like 12 and 13-year-olds.
But they're not, that's not a young adult.
No.
That's a juvenile. No longer a child, but not an adult. You're
Yeah.
juvenile.
It's like middle grade then seems too young, but like middle grade characters tend to be around the age of like 12, 13-year-old.
So what's middle grade? What's that supposed to be?
I think that's supposed to be younger. I think it's supposed to be like 8, 7 or 8 up until about 12, 13.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, okay.
So young juvenile.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It confuses me. Uh, that is sacrilege, Sean. Kyle is amazing, and oh,
It wasn't until I saw that comment I even realized that's who he was. I'm thinking, he was Paul.
yeah. Well, like I'm not sure who's worse, the new guy or him. I'm not sure. I wonder if the reason for YA being written for women in their 20s and 30s is influenced by its popularity with a certain section of BookTube.
Probably.
But would that have that much
Well,
effect on?
most of them started reading it as kind of like when they were the correct age. And then naturally, rather than moving on to adult books like you would assume they would, they just sort of kept reading YA and yet expecting it to came more adult. And I'm saying, no, you've aged out of it. You can still enjoy it, but it's not for you anymore.
Yeah, well, that's I like I've said this few times. I don't know who I say it or when I said it. So if I have said this and everybody's heard this again, just sorry. But I remember reading an essay written by an Australian academic who had like first or second year English courses, and the students that were coming in there had read nothing. They hadn't graduated from Harry Potter. That's all they read. So everything else that they read in there, they couldn't understand. They found it too difficult, like the concepts and everything too. And this is and this at the time, and this was 15 years, 10 to 15 years ago. So you're talking, you know, 20-year-olds
Hmm.
that hadn't graduated, but now they're in their 30s and probably still haven't moved on.
I'm probably still reading with YA.
Yeah. Well, that's why, like, yeah, with all the channels, but on BookTube. But I don't see that's everybody put holds like social media up so high and so influential. Is it really? It's only influential with a certain group of people. I don't think and people hold it up too much. Like, who cares if they say this on social media or something like that, or like they talk about the cancel, like people, you know, flooding somebody's um channel with stuff or hate or whatever because they
Mm.
didn't like what they said. It's like, maybe it's just maybe well, I haven't experienced it on that level, like really bad level, but I get stuff and it's just like, just these are idiots. Just let it wash over you. And the only problem is if they come to your door, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah. Although social media has saved some authors' careers because it's like literally like skyrocketed some of the books. I mean, some of the books I only found on TikTok because it was like they're like TikTok authors, so they were using TikTok to
Yeah.
promote their books. I was like, oh, that one actually sounds interesting.
So are there chapters like 3/4 of a page long?
No, no, it's like they're full books, which is impressive.
Yeah, because when you say TikTok,
Yeah.
it's like,
They just use it or like the little skits to promote them. So there's one, what was his name? A.P. Beswick. He wrote a series of books based on British folklore. So he's got his own version of like Robin Hood and Blackbeard and all this sort of characters, and you're like, that's actually quite fun.
yeah.
Although
Well,
it's funny when he keeps calling it a dark fantasy series. I'm like, I'm guessing you haven't read that much dark fantasy. It's not that dark.
and well, the thing is, yeah, that is the one good thing. You can promote your own, self-published type books, or if you're a really small author and you're not with a big publisher. But it's really getting hard. Like, that's the thing, because there is so many. Like, how many booktube channels are there out there? Like, how many YouTube channels?
Mm.
It's like, and I still haven't figured out how this all works. Like, I'm clearly not the front facing person that they want to see on here. I know that for a fact, regardless of what I do. But it's still just confuses the hell out of me, where you do one thing on here on BookTube, and you get a lot of views, and it gets a little bit of traction, and you do something that's even better or the same type of thing, and it does nothing. And there's an example, like I say, I've been trying to figure out how to do these shorts, like with limited equipment and everything. But I did the first thing and I got like almost 500 views on it fairly quickly. And I thought, oh, that's pretty damn good. That's better than I normally get. I do a second one, 60. I just and then like I do have a TikTok account. So I put that one up on TikTok, and within 5 minutes I had like over 700 views on it. And I go, crikey. And I go back 2 days later, it's now only 743. And then I put up a second one, and it's only like after several days, it's only 200. It's like, how does that work? How do these things? And everybody, like, everybody's got their thing. Oh, you put it up at this certain time. It's like, no, it's none of this stuff. It's just it's I just can't figure out how that works. And I think anybody who makes it on social media, if they're doing it on merit, then it's accidental. If
Mm.
they're doing it on being controversial or their looks or something like that, then yeah, then you can't compete with that. All right, I
Yeah.
can't compete with that. Definitely, and most people can't. And then if it's anything else, then it's absolutely pure luck. It's like this algorithm. You look at these things, and I do a book on, not book, sorry, I do a a video on something about science fiction, classic science fiction, and it shows where it appeared, like what videos it appeared underneath, as suggestions.
Mm.
And you see things like a book about collecting purses. I mean, a video about collecting purses. Now, how could that ever be put down there as as an example of saying, oh, if you like this video, look at this one.
Yeah, some of the recommendations are strange. And
It
yet they
doesn't make
claim it learns really, really fast. I mean, I've noticed I get about 95% of the recommendations I get are stuff that I would enjoy because I just like them if they're funny and they're silly.
well, Instagram is horrible because if you flip through the reels, and if you happen to see three of similar things, all of a sudden you or I am just bombarded with the same thing, just constantly. Or at other times on YouTube as well, is you watch one video and you go, oh, that's kind of interesting, and yet you're bombarded with this stuff. And it's like, yeah, I watched one. That doesn't mean I want to watch 500.
Yeah, I watched one video and it was going on about that 4B movement that was going on Korea. And then the fact that some of the American women were trying it out, and next thing you know, there was about 20 more videos about it. I'm like, I was just curious as to what it was.
Well, you usually on Instagram, because you have to scroll through. You can't click on the ones you want. It's like the shorts. You just scroll through,
Mm.
and it depends on what comes up. It's like, I'm scrolling through and I go, oh, okay. It's like, and it's usually scantily clad women or something like that. Or this great one is where they're wearing see-through dresses
Mm.
into light, and I'm going. So you pause. The trick is not to pause even a 1 second. You pause 2 seconds. Three more down is going to be that. If you pause there again, then you're going to get a whole bunch of those. And it's like, that's not what I want. It's not give me the ones I stay and watch. It doesn't give me. It gives me all this other ones. So I don't know. If anybody has an answer to this, please contact me, because I haven't figured it out and I just don't know what to do. And it's like, you get no. It's not that I want instant gratification or something like that, but it'd be nice to get something out of it. And if it's not feedback, it'd be nice to get some advertising money out of it. But I think on the shorts, you get 1,000 views, you get a penny. You get 1 penny. So I'm at half a p
Yeah,
with one short so far. I
you're
think
this
half
close
a
to
p.
retirement.
Yeah. If we're in Victorian times, that wouldn't be too bad. I'd have a halfpenny. And the other one, it'd be a farthing. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I think everybody's bored of me talking now. And unless there's other comments, I think that's I think that's it. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Just remember, everybody, go and subscribe to Jenni's channel. We need to get 100, and she'll do the booktube newbie tag.
I got a proper camera for my laptop too, or maybe
And
just do it on my phone.
share the channel. Can you actually? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You
you
can
can
put it.
share.
Yeah, you can share the channel, because I guess it'll be just on a community. Yeah, it'll be a community post, but you can share that, or share this video and say, or just with her link. The link is down in the description. So yeah. So this are I know what I need to do is do something like this. Like I see it on these shorts. They're saying
Yeah,
like this.
I just got a message through. Jim's just went and subscribed.
uh, the best thing to do, I think, is that they do it. They do a little shorter video about something about kids and parents, and they're going, if you actually like your parents or you like children, make sure you subscribe to this, because if you don't subscribe to it, then you hate them. Does that really work?
Probably not.
Yeah. So bye everybody, and thanks for stopping by, Jim. Thanks for everybody stopping by. Kudos Sean for scoring the Jenni live premiere. Great job, Jenni. You're not. Yeah, she is. You are a natural. And I do apologize. I'm not at my best today. So if there is ever a best, but when we do get, or when not we, when I do get around to doing the Desert Island books again, you'll be the first, I think, Jenni. So definitely do that.
I'll deliberately pick books you don't like.
Well, that was always a concern with me for this. Not that I don't like, but that I don't have a clue about. That's the one thing, because then I don't know what to say. So thankfully, everybody that did it, there was books that I knew something about. There'd be some that I knew nothing about, so then I could ask some questions. But it'd be nice to feedback. When I did do a few that there was only two books that I never read or ever heard about, that that was really difficult for me to do, because I could have cheated and looked up what the book was about, but that's cheating. So anyway, thanks everybody. Stick around, Jenni, for a few minutes.